for dessert tonight? Cheesecake with pumpkin. We're gonna make my nonna's famous ricotta cheesecake, and we're adding a little bit of pumpkin because of the fall season. And this is a cake that my nonna has made as long as I can remember. This is the first cake that she ever taught me.
I want to make for you because I want to make you happy because we like too much this cheesecake.
Well, this is a really, really simple cake. I think anybody at home could do this cake. It starts with ricotta. And this kind of ricotta, this is actually a ricotta called impastata. This is not paleo ricotta that you get at the supermarket, although that is exactly what Nonna likes to use for this kind of cheesecake. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the only difference is that this ricotta is drier. If you want to get the same effect with a wet ricotta that you can buy in tubs at a supermarket, you put it in your fridge, and you put it in like a colander, and you can put a plate on top of it, and put a plate under it, and all that moisture will drip out for the next day. Same kind of concept like we said with the pumpkin, with using fresh pumpkin. So we're just gonna add a cup of pumpkin puree to this. And that's the only thing that I did extra that my nonna doesn't do. Usually it's just this plain ricotta cheesecake. There isn't even any flour. This is a flourless cheesecake. And the thing that makes it unique for her is that she likes to add lemon and orange zest to flavor it. And she doesn't really like to put too much cinnamon or cloves or allspice, because then I personally feel like when you do that to anything with pumpkin, everything just tastes the same. Everything tastes like a pumpkin pie, and I don't want it to taste like a pumpkin pie. I want it to taste like my nonna's ricotta cheesecake with a little pumpkin flavor. And now we're going to crack 8 eggs.
It's very easy.
In here. We also have sugar. We got some sugar. This is half a pound of sugar. So that is 1 cup of sugar. Yeah. I get confused with the pounds and the. See, so my nonna measuring things is always a treat for me when I have to write out her recipes, because a cup never means like a real cup. Nonna measures in espresso cups and brown coffee mugs. So I always have to adapt from there. And who do you usually make this ricotta cheesecake for? Who likes this cheesecake?
Your father likes it.
This is Vito's favorite cheesecake.
Yeah. From Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas time, I make this cheesecake anytime.
Anytime. We're going to lock our stand mixer. You could also do this with a hand mixer. What? He's too skinny? Not enough. Tonight he's going to eat this whole thing. He has to eat the whole thing because he's too skinny and it's not fair. Nonna, you remember the first time I made cake?
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
You don't pick a pop. Look at the race.
Actually, my family likes to tell me, well, for the longest time, I was led to believe that when I was 4 years old for Mother's Day, I put it in my head that I came back from Montessori school and I said, I'm making a cherry pie today. And they said, you're making a cherry pie. Italians don't eat pie, really. And they definitely don't eat cherry pie. And so they let me go in the kitchen and they let me mix some stuff up together. And I even tried to make like the lattice top for this cherry pie. I really had it in my head what it was supposed to look like. And it looked like a mess. And my mother said, Rossella, it doesn't look very good, Mom. And I said, no, in the oven, it's going to turn into a cherry pie. Don't worry. Don't worry. So then, all I really remember was that we had cherry pie that night, and it looked like the cherry pie that I always saw on TV. And I was happy. And then I was like, wow, I'm such a good cook. And I would tell everybody when I was 4 years old I made a cherry pie. I was a child's prodigy. And so I remember on my my 16th birthday, my parents said, we want to talk to you, we want to tell you something. I said, I'm adopted, I always knew. It had to be, no. Well, remember that cherry pie that you made when you were 4 years old? And I said, yeah. They're like, you didn't make that. You made such a mess, it came out so bad, but we didn't want to disappoint you. And we said, in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, where do you find a bakery that has a cherry pie? We had to go to the Jewish bakery, and we had to get a cherry pie on Mother's Day. Do you know who we had to fight for that? My entire world collapsed, but I got over it, and now I make cakes that are actually good, sometimes. Am I good with the cakes now?
Yeah, very good. She make a cake better than me now. A lot of cake she do, I don't know maybe. She loves it.
So this is, again, very simple. You just mix all the ingredients together at once. And now we have such a beautiful, velvety, smooth. You guys can see that in the this is really, really beautiful. All those eggs. I don't think you need to mix it more. No, because we had our eggs were room temperature. Everything, if everything's room temperature, it's not too cold, then it's all gonna amalgamate nicely. And we put this into a spring form. Nonna never bakes this in a spring form. She usually bakes it in like in a nice rectangular pan. Very old school. I don't think she's seen a spring form pan until about 4 or 5 years ago. And we greased the spring form, and then we put some parchment paper over it so it doesn't stick, and we greased the parchment as well. So now you just want to transfer. And you're going to bake this. Every time I bake it, I need to bake it for a different amount of time, personally. So I start with 400 degrees for 60 minutes, and then if it seems when I move the rack around, if it seems to move around a little too much, I add about 15 minutes until the center seems done. So it's going to depend on your oven, how your oven's calibrated. You know, like I said, when you ask a nonna, how long do I cook this for? What's the answer? Till it's done. Till it's done. So you can kind of toss it or you can smooth out the top a little bit. The steamed passata gives us such a beautiful velvety texture. And then 425 for 60 minutes to start. 400 to 425 for 60 minutes to start. And with magic, we have one that's already done. We have such a beautiful color at the top. And this is going to go great with the pumpkin gelato that we have here, special for tonight. I want to thank everybody for being such a great audience. Thank you, Nonna, for being with me. Thank you, Tina, for being a superstar. I think she stole the show tonight. I think that's safe to say. Come on up here. I hope you guys ate well. I hope you liked our stories. Nonna Titina will be in her very own Cooking with Nonna episode in about 2 weeks. She's getting ready for that.
It comes, right now Moscato is made by Australia, by Chile, Argentina, everybody by California, in people's backyards. But one thing you know is that there's no such thing in an Italian family, they don't have a fig tree or a Moscato grapevine tree, okay? Vine. It is a wonderful, wonderful grape. The grape is Moscato, and it comes from Asti. This one comes from Friuli, Venezia Giulia, which is the Veneto region. It's made by a wonderful company, which is Ecco Domani. And they, like everything else, they Gallo believes. They believe in making things that are delicious, well-made, in conjunction with, with nature. They don't want to do anything that is pesticide. No, nothing that's artificial. Moscato should be clean, crisp, fresh, and clean your palate, and not so sweet. Enjoy it. I hope you're going to love it. Thank you.